While America imports 75% of its batteries from China, there's an ancient volcano sitting on the Oregon-Nevada border that could change everything. We're talking about 40 million tons of lithium, enough to power every electric car on the planet for the next 3 decades. But here's the thing China doesn't want you to know. This discovery could completely shatter their stranglehold over the technology that powers our future. Right now, as you're watching this video, China controls something that could determine whether America leads or follows in the next industrial revolution. We're not talking about manufacturing or technology patents, we're talking about lithium, the silver-white metal that powers every Tesla, every iPhone, and every clean energy dream Silicon Valley has ever sold us. Here's a number that should terrify every American policymaker. China processes 70% of the world's lithium, manufactures 76% of lithium-ion batteries, and despite having less than 7% of global lithium reserves, they've built such a comprehensive supply chain monopoly that even when we mine lithium in our own backyard, we still ship it to China for processing. It's like growing corn in Iowa, shipping it to Beijing to make it into bread, then buying it back at 10 times the price. But something extraordinary has been happening in the high desert between Oregon and Nevada that could flip this entire equation upside down. Scientists have discovered what appears to be the largest lithium deposit on Earth, hidden inside an ancient volcanic crater called the McDermott Caldera. We're talking about 20 to 40 million tons of lithium carbonate equivalent. That's not a typo. Some projections suggest it could contain as much as 120 million tons when fully explored. To put this in perspective, the entire world consumes about 1 million tons of lithium per year right now. This single geological formation in the American West contains enough lithium to meet global demand for the next 40 years, even as electric vehicle adoption explodes and demand quadruples by 2030. It's sitting there, 16 million years after a supervolcanic eruption concentrated these vast mineral resources, waiting for American industry to wake up and claim what's rightfully ours. The implications go far beyond just having more lithium. Right now, when Ford builds an electric truck or when Tesla manufactures a Model 3, they're essentially sending their profits to Chinese companies who control the battery supply chain.
Every electric vehicle sold in America generates more wealth for China than for American workers, even when that vehicle is assembled in Detroit or Austin. This isn't just an economic problem, it's a national security crisis, hiding in plain sight. China didn't stumble into this dominance by accident. While American companies focused on downstream innovation and consumer brands, Chinese firms systematically bought stakes in lithium mines across South America, Africa, and Australia. They built massive processing facilities, created vertically integrated supply chains, and now they don't just control the factories, they control the raw materials, the processing, the battery manufacturing, and increasingly, they're buying up the mines themselves. The numbers are staggering when you really break them down. China imports raw lithium from countries like Chile and Argentina, processes it in Chinese facilities using Chinese labor, manufactures it into batteries using Chinese technology, then sells those batteries back to American companies at premium prices. We've essentially financed the construction of our own economic dependency, and we did it while convincing ourselves we were leading the clean energy transition. But here's where the story gets interesting, and where that Oregon discovery becomes absolutely game-changing. The McDermott Caldera doesn't just contain massive amounts of lithium, it contains a specific type of lithium-rich claystone that can be extracted using conventional mining methods. Unlike the brine operations in South America that require massive evaporation ponds and 18 to 24 months of processing time, these claystone deposits can be mined, processed, and converted to battery-grade lithium carbonate in a matter of weeks, not years. The Thacker Pass project, which sits in the Nevada portion of this deposit, has already secured $2.26 billion in Department of Energy loans and $625 million in investment from General Motors. This isn't some speculative venture or startup fantasy. This is real money, real timelines, and real production capacity. When Phase 1 comes online in late 2027, it will produce 40,000 tons of battery-grade lithium annually, enough to supply batteries for 800,000 electric vehicles per year, using American workers, American technology, and American-controlled supply chains. And that's just the beginning. Full development of the McDermott resources could eventually reach 160,000 tons annually, making it one of the largest lithium operations in the world.
More importantly, it would be an American operation, controlled by American companies, employing American workers and generating wealth for American communities instead of Chinese state-owned enterprises. The geopolitical implications are enormous. China has demonstrated repeatedly that they're willing to weaponize resource control for political leverage. They've restricted rare earth exports during trade disputes. They've used economic coercion against countries that displease them politically. And they've made it clear that they view resource control as a tool of statecraft. Having America's electric vehicle industry dependent on Chinese lithium processing is like having our oil imports controlled by a single hostile nation. It's a vulnerability that no serious country should accept. But there's another piece to this story that makes it even more compelling. While everyone's been focused on the Oregon discovery, researchers have quietly identified another massive lithium deposit right here in the United States. The Smackover Formation, stretching across Arkansas and several other southern states, contains an estimated 5 to 19 million tons of lithium dissolved in underground brines. ExxonMobil has already acquired drilling rights for 120,000 acres and plans to begin production by 2027. What makes the Arkansas discovery particularly interesting is that lithium extraction can be integrated with existing oil and gas operations, utilizing what was previously considered waste brine. It's a perfect example of how American ingenuity can turn environmental challenges into economic opportunities while strengthening our strategic position. Combined, these American lithium resources represent something unprecedented: the possibility of not just achieving lithium independence, but becoming a major lithium exporter. Instead of sending our wealth to China, we could be supplying lithium to our allies, strengthening partnerships with countries like Japan, South Korea, and European allies who are equally concerned about Chinese supply chain dominance. The economic impact extends far beyond just mining jobs. Lithium processing, battery manufacturing, and electric vehicle assembly create high-value employment in advanced manufacturing sectors. Every ton of lithium we process domestically instead of shipping to China represents value creation for American workers instead of Chinese state enterprises. It's the difference between being a raw material exporter and being an advanced manufacturing economy. The timeline is critical.
Global lithium demand is projected to increase 6.5 times by 2034, driven primarily by electric vehicle adoption and energy storage systems. If American projects like McDermott and Arkansas come online as planned, we could capture this demand growth instead of ceding it to Chinese competitors. But if we delay, if we get bogged down in regulatory processes or environmental reviews while China continues expanding their processing capacity and mining operations, we could miss this window entirely. The technology sector implications are equally significant. Every major American tech company, from Apple to Microsoft to Google, relies on lithium-ion batteries for their products and services. Having secure domestic lithium supplies doesn't just benefit Tesla and Ford, it strengthens the entire American technology ecosystem by reducing supply chain vulnerabilities and cost uncertainties. What's particularly encouraging is that these projects demonstrate that American industry can compete with Chinese operations when we commit the necessary resources and maintain consistent policy support. The combination of geological advantages, technological innovation, and strategic investment is creating opportunities to rebuild American leadership in critical mineral supply chains. This isn't just about lithium. It's about demonstrating that America can identify strategic vulnerabilities, develop domestic solutions, and execute complex industrial projects that strengthen our economic and national security position. Success with lithium creates precedents and infrastructure for addressing similar challenges with other critical minerals like cobalt, nickel, and rare earth elements. The question now isn't whether America has the resources to challenge Chinese lithium dominance. We clearly do. The question is whether we have the political will, the industrial coordination, and the strategic patience to develop these resources quickly and effectively enough to matter. Because while we're debating and planning, China isn't standing still. They're expanding their mining operations, building new processing facilities, and strengthening their grip on global supply chains. This Oregon discovery represents more than a geological find. It's America's opportunity to reclaim control over the technologies that will define our economic future. The lithium is there, the technology exists, the financing is available, and the strategic imperative is clear. Now we need to decide whether we're going to seize this opportunity or watch it slip away while we debate.
Because in the race to power our electric future, second place means economic dependence. And economic dependence, as we're learning, means strategic vulnerability.